Ever wondered if there really is life on the other side? I'm Carla Mae, and this is Messages. Tonight, I'll be talking to the other side, grandmas, uncles, aunts, and husbands who have messages here for the people on our side. It only takes an open mind to hear their messages.
Messages with Carla Mae. This week on Messages with Carla Mae.
Roger. They're saying Roger that to me. Roger that. Isn't that what you say when you fly? Roger that? Is your dad a pilot? Oh, so she's saying John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
When Carla Mae says John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, the song we used to sing as kids was George Bradford Jingleheimer Smink.
He says, this was one of the strangest accidents I've ever worked. I started questioning what was going on.
I think after a while, Mark hadn't denied either.
All of a sudden it dawned on her, this was Marcus. The way that he came to her through a trusted friend.
She was talking to him, no doubt about it. I think our faith has been restored.
Wardrobe provided by Javier Zamora. And now for more Messages with Carla Mae.
Okay. I want to go talk to Cynthia here in the beautiful purple suit. Is there Clyde or a name like that? Hard name like that?
Last name is Cleaver.
Close enough, okay. It's not your mom talking to me. Is your mom's mother on the other side? They're very close. Your family is a very close-knit people. Very close-knit.
They fight a lot, but they're very close.
They're very close. Also, was your grandmother the matriarch of your family? Yeah. Whew, she's strong. I don't know if she was painting or she was spreading frosting, but whatever it was, she was spreading something, and this was huge. Do you have a huge family? Is it a big family? Or she must have cooked in huge volumes because, wow, it was long. Did she miss part of her finger? Did she cut off an end of her finger? Or who would have that? Now, this isn't the whole finger, it's an end of a finger. Or there's something funky with the end of it. She showed it to me. This is not her, I don't think. It's somebody that she's talking about. And this is a male figure to her. Is her husband on the other side? I just had goosebumps from head to toe. Yeah, it's her.
I think it was his son that lost the tip of his finger.
You have a kind family, but they had very strict rules or very strict ideas on how life should be and how they wanted their people's lives to be. So I would imagine that if you weren't doing something that your grandmother liked, she would let you know, and she'd be in your face letting you know. But she wants to say this to you. She was wrong. She's so wrong, okay? And that's hard for her to say. She said she never would have said it here. And she did her finger. Never would have said it. I believe her. She's kind of scary. Now, did she lose her hearing?
She wouldn't admit it.
Never. I would never say it. Okay. Now, they're also showing me something new happening to you with a relationship. This is a new thing coming to you, okay? And your granddad said that's all you need to say. So, as long as you understand, that's all he's going to say.
Let her talk again.
They will only tell me if it doesn't hurt you to know, if it doesn't get in your way of knowing, and if, well, he said that. That's all. Boy, your granddad was kind of abrupt too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He's like, that's all. Quit talking, Missy. And Roger, do you have a Roger or a Robert? Roger. They're saying Roger that to me. Roger that. Isn't that what you say when you fly? Roger that. Is your dad a pilot? Oh, okay. He said if you would just quit talking before I finish talking, then I would get the whole message. He's yelling at me. Your dad's yelling at me. He's telling me to be quiet before he finishes. It's nothing like being yelled at people like you don't even hardly see. Which one of you has a predominant L in your family? Tell me what your name is.
John.
John. Oh, see, I was hearing John right before I heard the L too. Hold on, okay, I'll be right to you. There's new buildings around you too. I'm seeing Monopoly. Is all little buildings? Do you collect buildings?
No, I'm an architect.
Okay. Do you have problems with your legs? Who would be a male with the problems with their legs?
My dad had arthritis.
Is he still here or on the other side?
He's on the other side.
Is your dad quiet? Does he not talk very much?
Very quiet.
He's not very talkative over there, and he whispers. Everything's quiet. Everything's quiet with your dad. Why would you be all alone by yourself? Why would there be so much space around you? Were you older? Or
I'm younger.
Do you know him? Does that make sense to you?
What?
So I think you distanced yourself from that part of your
Every one
family.
of you ought to have a friend here.
Yeah.
So I can get the real story. You're all in each other's aura, so if I'm saying something that makes sense to one or the other, y'all speak up and tell me.
My
Okay.
husband and my dad's name was Bill.
Okay.
And they're both.
On the other side. Now, did your bill cross with something with the heart? The
My
chest?
dad did.
Very quickly. It was very quick.
First and only heart attack.
You know what? Did your husband cross with cancer? Is that what your husband had?
I was married to another man short time, and he had a brain tumor.
Oh, they showed me Betty Ford when you were talking about your husband. And what does Betty Ford mean?
That's substance abuse.
Okay. Does it make sense? Okay. Well, your family's just over there all hanging out together. They still want to talk to you, John. Oh, you tell your people to stay on over there? Come back. With your mom. Whoa. Your mom, when she wanted something, she usually got it, did she not? She's like, you're not going to shush me. Your life in 5 years, they're telling me, is going to be radically different than what you see it as today. And you're not a man that likes a lot of change, are you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, you should, but this is really good. This change that's coming to me is going to mark the rest of your life. It's really good. And there's a lot of money connected to it. So you should be happy. If an opportunity comes to you that's really kind of out of the blue, you didn't see it coming, and the person that gives it to you, you do not know. Okay, remember that. The person who sends it to you does not know you. You need to pay attention and don't sit and dilly-dally around, because this is an opportunity of a lifetime is what they're saying to me. Boy, I've done this for about 8 years now, and I rarely get to say stuff like that because it just doesn't happen very often, okay? You keep control of things so much that this would be the time for you to let go and do it, okay? Now, my back is hurting. The man that had the leg problems, and does he also have a back problem, do you know? Okay, the whole back part of me is just like, I'm also saying corn. You don't strike me as a man who's from corn country. I don't know whether it was show me corn. Are you from someplace where they grow corn?
I'm from Ohio.
Oh my God, they grow corn there everywhere. Okay. The gentleman that had the back problems, this is your dad? Did you have something that's round of your dad's?
I do.
I don't think I'm on you, but it's very close to you, is what he said. Would this be something possibly you could wear? It doesn't really look like something you would wear all the time.
It's a pocket watch.
A pocket watch. It's round. Okay. 2. Why would he say 2? Did he cross in February on the 2nd? 2 years ago, 2 months ago? He's showing 2. Now there's a string of 2s all the way around you. This is 2, and it's in the shape of a DNA. That's interesting why they would shed that to me.
It's really weird.
It's like, you know how a DNA spirals all around you? That's what it's doing. It's 2s, 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 2s. Oh, you're so going to know what this is when you figure it out.
And coming up next on Messages with Carla Mae.
Did you let someone touch your back?
It was probably about 3 or 4 minutes before she asked that question, and I just thought it was a spring in the couch behind me.
You know, he said it's unbelievable where he is. Unbelievable.
The way that he came to her through a trusted friend.
She was talking to him, no doubt about it. I think our faith has been restored.
And now for more Messages with Carla Mae.
lose her hair? Did she change her hair? Why would she do something with her hair? Why would she show me that? Was she always messing with her hair? Was she always changing her hair? Bananas, she's showing me bananas. But this is not like you're eating bananas. This is a problem you would have. Maybe this is potassium that she's showing me. So did she have a problem with her legs?
Yes.
Now, also, is there somebody around you who drinks? Is there a drinker that she'd be talking about?
It could be me.
Okay, now, John, obviously you know each other, but is there another John that she'd be talking about in your family? So she's saying John, Jacob, Jingleheimer, Smith. Do you know Jacob? There's got to be a John. Y'all really close?
Yes.
Why did you sit by each other? What did they make you do, a boy-girl thing? Now she's showing me the twos with you. So, now, so did your mom have some kind of surgery or some kind of weird mark on her upper chest?
Yes.
Okay. And your mom loves you dearly. Oh my God, y'all were close, were you not? Real close. I don't like to use the word soulmates very often because it's just overused and overworked, but you guys were soulmates, you and your mom. Also, she was fiercely protective of you. Fiercely protective. She showed me a lion. Did your mom lose a baby?
Yes.
The baby's on the other side with her. Now, there's some kind of child energy around you. What is she talking about? You don't strike me as someone who has kids, but there's child energy around you. So, is there somebody who just had a child? Is there somebody who, niece or nephew to you that's around you? With a child energy around?
I just visited my nephew.
Is this something that doesn't happen very often? The visits to the nephew?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because she's really kind of saying that it should probably happen more.
Excuse me, she's saying it should happen more.
Oh, yeah. You're a good influence on your nephew. You're good people. You should trust yourself more. All those times where they say don't turn down this street and you turn down that street and you wish to God you hadn't turned down the street, they're trying to help you. It's your mom, it's your angels on the other side. And you, John, have a lot of angels on the other side. Real angels. We're real. That's what they said. We're real. She actually visited you. Did you have a dream of her that you remember every single little detail after she crossed?
Yes.
She said, you better remember. So she said, I like your mom. She's kind of scary. She's pushy, but I like your mom. Pay attention to what happens in the next few days because she's going to visit you again. Your house has got to be popping all over the place because your mom is trying to say hello to you. And when your house pops, pay attention because she's trying to say yes. Yes. Whatever you were just thinking about, it's a yes. She's probably popping it all over the place. As much as she's like, you know, very demanding in my head, she's probably popping you. She's going to break your TV. Okay?
Our mom passed away in December, and she knew John Von Moore, the first guy that Carla Mae talked to. And when she came in, Carla Mae talked about a woman who had blonde hair, and 2 days before Mom died, we had spent a lot of time fixing her up and doing her hair. And then after she passed, we had had a cutting of her hair taken and saved for the family in an envelope. And so she came in and she tried to get John's attention. And when Carla Mae says, John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, the song we used to sing as kids was George Bradford Jingleheimer Smink. And Brad grew up for the first 3 years of his life thinking that that was his real name, you know, and the poor kid went to Sunday school and told everybody that that was his name, you know. So I'm sure Mom thought that John would pick up on that, and he didn't. He just missed it. Well, Autumn and I were on the other side of the wall listening very quietly, and we looked at each other during the hair thing, and we thought, no. And then when they said, you know, John Jacob Jingleheimer, we got up and ran around the corner, and we were pointing at John going, that's our mother. That's our mother.
And now for more messages with Carla Mae.
Tell me your name.
Susan.
Susan. Cynthia, did you want to move?
Do you want me to switch with him?
No, not here on the table, on the couch. But do you want to move your physical house?
God, yes.
Okay, this is what, before I went to Susan, this is what they said. For God's sakes, tell her she's moving. You're going to move.
Thank you.
It may take 6 months, maybe even a year before it happens, and I'm sorry, but you're going to move. Okay? Just to be so worried about it. They're like, tell her, she's dying. Okay. There's a man on the other side. He's connected to your dad. Are you her dad? Yes or no? If this isn't your dad, it's got to be your dad's dad, because it's that dad energy is. I'm hearing dad yelled at me in my head. So what's going on? Is there something going on with your dad? No, is your dad's dad on the other side of the fence? Dad. Why are you yelling dad at me? Did you just recently seen your dad? Do you need to go see your dad?
I've recently seen him.
Okay, your dad's father. I'm seeing like a hospital room. I'm seeing in a hospital room. I'm seeing a hospital room. Was he in the hospital before he crossed over? I don't think he crossed there, but he was in the hospital is what he's saying. Is that right?
Yes.
And your dad's the one who's talking to me, and I keep seeing an E or an F with him, but it's a E or F. Who would have a name like that on the other side? With me on the other side is what he said.
My husband's my married name is Furman, and my husband, who is a dad of my 2 children, is Furman, and he passed away.
Oh my gosh, that's why I was hearing dad screamed at me.
So I was wondering.
Oh, I have goosebumps from head to toe when you said that. Okay, so no wonder I was hearing dad. Why would I see buffalo and cheese? I'm seeing fresh mozzarella buffalo cheese.
I gave my kid's babysitter money to buy a pizza.
Oh, because he said
pizza.
Today. He was saying today. Okay.
That's right.
I think that your husband is letting you know he's okay. And now, did he have something wrong with his chest? Because my respiratory is doing really weird, funky things. A tube. Did you just recently have to do something with a tube?
Well, yes, because his dad had an emergency rescue when we were out of town with him a week ago, and the ambulance came and put a tube down his throat. That's his dad, but he hasn't crossed over.
Okay.
He's still.
But he's letting you know he's aware of what's going on. He's showing me that tube clear as day. Okay.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Do you have an anniversary or birthday coming up? I'm seeing a big date ahead of you.
September would have been our anniversary, 17th anniversary.
That's coming up. Is it 2 kids that you have? Did you lose a child?
No.
What's the last pregnancy on the other side that he was talking about?
Yeah, well, the first pregnancy had a twin, but it was just nothing really. It was basically, didn't go too long at all, like a week or 2.
Well,
it was obviously
3
there.
babies. Do you have something big that happened with 2?
He died in February. Last time I saw him was February 22nd. 222.
There's 2, but I think y'all.
That's when my mother died.
23rd.
Shazam!
22nd.
And my husband died on the 23rd. But it was
But okay.
222, and you
He actually crossed twice. Your husband said he crossed twice.
That could be.
The only thing he told me, honey, was with the respiratory. I could just feel really funky, weird things with my respiratory. He obviously lingered. If he's showing me G22, but it was the 23rd, and if he crossed twice, obviously it had to take a while for that to happen. But I think that whatever happened to him was relatively quick. That started the whole thing.
It happened in an instant.
Right? He doesn't like you to revisit that in your mind. You must think about it a lot. Why do you have so many regrets? You shouldn't regret that. You shouldn't feel guilty. If you have guilt with that, you should not feel guilt, because he just says don't do that. Think of the happy times you had with him, because he sees you, Susan. He sees you by your color, and when you're in a happy mood, you're more peach, a lighter color. You have a lot of me issues going on, a lot of self-worth. Who am I? Sense of who you are, self-esteem issues going on, and they must have flared up because he just showed real big. So did that just happen? Yeah. Well, let me just tell you something. You have life lessons that your angel, your guardian angel, is bringing to you. You might as well just suck it up and go through it, because it's not going to go away. Ask God to guide your words and give you words and help you not pass out, and then just go deal with it. Otherwise, you're going to have it happen to you over and over and over again. I mean, he's saying 10. Let's say 10 months from now, you're going to be feeling much better and much more at peace with who you are. Okay. Did he just recently cross over? He feels very new over on the other side.
February.
Yeah. Oh, this February. You know, he said it's unbelievable where he is. It's unbelievable. You should rent that movie, What Dreams May Come, so you can get an idea of what it's like on the other side. And Elsie, you showed me a rose. Did you save a rose, and did you do something special with it? Are the petals of the rose that you kept? Mm-hmm. He likes it. Mm-hmm. Did he not smell, or why is he doing this?
It's sinus problems.
Oh. Like he was saying, I like the rose, but I wouldn't smell him. That's kind of what he was saying. Mm-hmm. He's around you. Okay.
And coming up next on Messages with Carla Mae.
Do you feel someone touch your back? Do you feel someone stand up behind you or walk up behind you? He said it was him. He said I touched her.
It was probably about 3 or 4 minutes before she asked that question, and I just thought it was a spring in the couch behind me. I felt something sort of mid-back on the right side.
And now for more Messages with Carla Mae.
All right, so tell me what you think about your experience tonight.
I've been extremely nervous today. I haven't really been thinking about it, but it's been in the back of my mind and my heart all day. But after I met Carla Mae, it did bring a calm. And then when I got some messages that I've been looking for.
What were you looking for?
A confirmation that my husband, who died, and father of my 4 boys, is there for us and is active, as is my grandmother. She kept bringing up my little stern, stomping her foot grandmother, and that's the same way she was when she was alive. But it was in a loving and affirming and she knows what's right kind of way.
So I would imagine that if you weren't doing something that your grandmother liked, she would let you know, and she'd be in your face letting you know. But she wants to say this to you. She's wrong. She's so wrong, okay? And that's hard for her to say. She said she never would have said it here. And she did her finger. Never would have said it.
And even though I fought it as a child, it's comforting to think that she's still there doing the same thing, watching over me. You know, when she first began, she said, if I say something to one of you and you think, oh, that's me, that's me. She was telling the gentleman next to me, there's a Bill, there's 2 Bills. And I thought, oh, that's me. Because my father was Bill and my deceased husband was also Bill.
So I know it might be hard to tell now, but does this change your outlook on how life is or the afterlife? Or?
It, I think, gets me back focused where I've gotten a little off focus, if anything. I've been very close to an intuitive side to God up until the last few years when I've lost my husband. My boys and I have been a little upset with spiritual things. But I know that the spiritual things are really what we need to pay attention to. And it'll bring a lot of comfort and maybe a smooth direction.
Were you skeptical at all coming in here? Had you ever done something like this before?
I've never done anything like this before. I don't know if skeptical is the word. Maybe a hope that I didn't want to be dashed. I was hoping to have some clarity. And I can say I'm walking away with some more assurance and clarity.
Do you feel someone touch your back? Do you feel someone stand up behind you or walk up behind you?
It was probably about 3 or 4 minutes before she asked that question. And I just thought it was a spring in the couch behind me.
He said it was him. He said I touched her.
I felt something sort of mid-back on the right side. Well, Carla Mae, I thank you for your sensitivity and for speaking to all of us, but me personally. It's brought me a lot of comfort. And I thank you.
And coming up next on Messages with Carla Mae.
I started questioning what was going on.
I think after a while, Mark had denied either.
All of a sudden it dawned on her, this was Marcus, the way that he came to her through a trusted friend.
This is a healing. I feel like my heart just doesn't hurt so much now.
And now for more Messages with Carla Mae.
In In just about any crowd, there are those stories about visits from the other side, angelic interventions, ghostly appearances, and orbs. They happen all the time. Each show, we will highlight some incredible story about the other side and how they interact with us here. Today, we're going to focus on Marcus Howell. Although he is no longer in his physical form, Marcus's spirit has been working overtime to orchestrate an incredible set of events, all designed to show his mom and dad that yes, he is around and he is okay, allowing them to ultimately let go of their grief and to find hope again. Marcus Anthony Howell was known for his generous heart, his giving spirit, and his uncanny ability to touch the hearts of the people that he met. His passions in life were soapbox derby racing as a young boy. Flying planes and helping out at his family's business was how he had spent his time in his adolescent days. And as a teen, his car, which he constantly worked on, was his most loved pastime. Ironically, it was in his car that he had loved so much that Marcus would pass away, setting off a remarkable chain of events. He was 16, a junior in high school, and had been warned by his parents not to drive on FM 2331, a seemingly quiet country road, but also the site where many deadly accidents had occurred. After school and rushed for time, Marcus tragically took the forbidden road. It was raining hard, the first rain after months of drought. The road was slick with built-up oil. Marcus lost control, spun out, and hit one of the few heavy metal posts in a long line of barbed wire fencing. Paramedics on their way back from another call, just minutes away from where his car came to a stop, rushed to the scene to find him unresponsive and with no vital signs. His car had been badly damaged beyond repair, yet he had no visible signs of injury. The paramedics were able to open an airway and to get a heartbeat, and they rushed him by care flight to an awaiting hospital.
When he passed, it affected a lot of people. A lot of professional people.
A lot of the people that were involved that afternoon and that night has come to us and has shared with us how spiritual that experience was for them.
At the hospital that night, I went and talked to the state trooper that worked the accident. He asked me who I was. And I said, Mark Howell. He says, no, you guys, y'all are somebody. We're not big famous people. He says, this was one of the strangest accidents I've ever worked. He said it was just really strange the way the accident, the scene went down and everything about it. The accident scene was real muddy. They had mud all over them, and the inside of the ambulance was real muddy and dirty. There was no blood or anything. There was nothing like that. It was just dirt. When they went back to the ambulance, they were like, you know, I'm going to take this in the car and wash, pull everything out and hose it down good. Got back and everything was perfectly clean. He said I had, my whole body was covered in mud. And he says, we looked down, we're perfectly clean, the ambulance is clean. And I said, I don't think that was Marcus there doing that, because he wasn't a real clean freak, but maybe just did you a favor.
It's almost like an angel had spoke to me and said, Marcus cannot stay. And I said, God, if you gotta take him, just take him as he is. Don't mess up his hair, because he had a thing about his hair. Marcus didn't have a scratch on him. His hair wasn't even messed up.
I think that was part of what was so difficult about dealing with it that night, was for somebody who had been in a serious accident, there was not a visible mark on it.
No.
And coming up next on Messages with Carla Mae.
I started questioning what was going on.
I think after a while, Mark had denied either.
All of a sudden it dawned on her, this was Marcus. The way that he came to her through a trusted friend.
She was talking to him, no doubt about it. I think our faith has been restored.
And now for more Messages with Carla Mae.
After losing control of his car and slamming head-on into a concreted metal post, 16-year-old Marcus passed away in what many would later recall to be a defining spiritual experience.
It's almost like Angela spoke to me and said, you know, Marcus cannot stay. And I said, God, if you gotta take him, just take him as he is. Don't mess up his hair, because he had a thing about his hair. Marcus didn't have a scratch on him.
After working to revive Marcus in pouring rain and deep mud, paramedics would later return back to the station prepared to tackle their heavily muddied ambulance and clothes, only to find both spotless, without explanation.
He said I had, you know, my whole body was covered in mud. And he says we looked down, we're perfectly clean, the ambulance is clean.
The sadness was just overwhelming. You just want something to say. He's okay. Mom, I'm okay. And so you reach for that. You pray for it. And Marcus had come by my bedside and gave me a hug and said, Mom, I'm okay. I'm okay. Tell Dad I'm okay.
There were some things that happened that I started questioning what was going on.
It was so funny. It got to a point where you just couldn't ignore it anymore. He would start messing with Mark and moving his things, and I think after a while Mark hadn't denied either that he had a presence there at the house.
Deal was that when he came home at night, if I went to bed before he did, I'd turn the porch light on. And when he came home at nighttime, he used to turn the porch light off, so if I woke up, I could lay there in the bed and look, I could see if the light was on or not. And if it was off, I knew he was home and I'd go back to sleep. And I bet I spent the next year and a half, I left the porch lights on every night. And I bet Home Depot made over $200 on light bulbs because the porch lights would burn out. One time I changed them, I came home, they were out, and I changed them, went inside, and was doing some stuff and came back out 20 minutes later and one of the lights was burnt out already. Carla kept going to her and saying she's seeing a CD, and then she's seeing a mark, and then Carla said her head hurt really bad, and this should mean something to you. I think it was 20 or 30 minutes later, she said all of a sudden it dawned on her, this was Marcus. And ironically, his accident was a severe head injury that killed him. And you know, when I got the email, I was like, okay, you know, I've kind of thought about doing this, but you know, if he's going to go to somebody and make their head hurt and all that stuff, you know, I'll give her the time of day.
It was obvious from the reading that he was trying to get our attention for quite some time. He was just trying to find the right person that would help us spiritually as well.
I don't feel like I came to her. I feel like he brought her to us.
Yeah.
The way that he came to her through a trusted friend, that she's okay.
And coming up next on Messages with Carla Mae.
I started questioning what was going on.
I think after a while, Mark hadn't denied either.
All of a sudden it dawned on her, this was Marcus. The way that he came to her through a trusted friend.
This is a healing. I feel like my heart just doesn't hurt so much now.
And now for more Messages with Carla Mae.
After losing control of his car and slamming head-on into a concreted metal post, 16-year-old Marcus passed away in what many would later recall to be a defining spiritual experience.
And I said, God, if you gotta take him, don't mess up his hair, because he had a thing about his hair. Marcus didn't have a scratch on him.
I started questioning what was going on.
I think after a while, Mark hadn't denied either that he had a presence there at the house.
And then she's seeing a mark, and then Carla said her head hurt really bad, and this should mean something to you. All of a sudden it dawned on her, this was Marcus. The way that he came to her through a trusted friend. I feel like he brought her to us.
Yeah.
The paramedic that worked, we talked to him about a year or so later. And he said it was really strange because Marcus, he felt like he was dead, but by the same token, he got some things working. He put a trach in and got his lungs working and got his heart to where it was beating. I think they were breathing for him, but other bodily functions were working. And so he felt that, we just keep pressing. I took the surgeon into a room, just me and him. And he says, honestly, he says, I think he's dead. He says, but I've seen him come back like this. And he says, I'd like to try a few more things, but I think it's over.
I had actually asked her the question, did he die in the car or was he at the hospital? It came across that Marcus had actually answered that question through Carla, that Mom, you knew I wasn't there. Why are you asking that question? And in the tone that he would have said it, because he always said, Mom.
He was about an hour later. I just walked in and says, get this out of here, turn it off. Unplug it. I've questioned that decision ever since. It was really nice to Carla to tell me that he wasn't even there. It was just a mute point. But I was so mad at myself for that decision. I just hated that hand. As I look at it, it's like, I killed my son with that hand because I gave up. And I don't give up. I'm not a quitter. And it was really comforting when Carla said, he wasn't even around. It's like, glad I kept my hand. I think for me to figure out that the reading really did and truly Marcus was there, I felt like he was there. I had no doubt about it. But there was a couple of questions that pieces I couldn't put together until several hours later. Carla kept seeing tobacco and red around me. She nailed it down to a can and then chewing tobacco. Now, Carla had also mentioned that it was Red Man. That day, I was thinking that I kept trying to find a question that I could ask Marcus that only he and I would know the answer to. And I never could come up with something concrete that I liked. I got to thinking a good friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, chews and dips. And in 10 years of being around this guy, I had never noticed what brand it was. So I called him up and he didn't answer the phone. I called him up, left a message, hey Brad, I need to know what brand of tobacco you chew. I never have paid attention. It says Red Man, what's going on? And when I checked my messages and it was Red Man, I went, holy smokes. I was looking for something all day that only me and Marcus knew. But then he stuck it to me because this guy, I've sat beside him in airplanes for hours and hours on end and never noticed what the pouch was.
I think one of the key points for me that we really just made it real for me and to make me realize that Marcus was in the room with Carla Mae was when he started critiquing her. It was that tone that he used, that only he used. He actually started teasing her a little bit and messing with her, and Carla Mae started talking to him like he was correcting her. I knew then that it was him.
There's red tamales kept coming up in a little box or something. And when we were at our daughter's over Christmas, I says, Brooke, is there anything about red tamales that you remember? She says, Dad, me and Marcus used to eat those in dispatch all the time. I can't believe you didn't notice that. I'm like, all right, there's another one. Okay, this deal really, he was there. There's no doubt about it at this point.
And coming up next on Messages with Carla Mae.
I came from a deeply Baptist background.
If there's a way that, they can just open up their hearts and look at the big picture.
Actually, I feel like there's been about 1,000 pounds lifted off my shoulders.
This is a healing. And I feel like my heart just doesn't hurt so much now.
After losing control of his car and slamming head-on into a concreted metal post, 16-year-old Marcus passed away in what many would later recall to be a defining spiritual experience.
I started questioning what was going on.
He had a presence there at the house.
The way that he came to her through a trusted friend, I feel like he brought her to us.
Yeah.
I came from a deeply Baptist background and was taught that communication with the other side is a taboo. They don't understand what faith is, having not been through something like this. And I'm sorry, it takes more than faith to get through it. You can't just have faith that God meant for this to happen or one thing after the other. It's like, you know, and there's too many things that weren't adding up, because on the one hand we say that when you die, you know, Marcus, I was with Marcus, I witnessed to him, he gave his soul to God, he's in heaven now. And it's like, no, that doesn't make sense to me, because 2 weeks ago there was an accident at the same site where his was, and the girl said that hit the pole said that she saw somebody, a young boy, who she identified later on as Marcus, says, I'm going to take care of you, don't worry about it, you'll be okay. And when she was in the car, she had her seatbelt on. However, when the car hit the pole, it hit on the driver's door post and drove the doorpost almost to the transmission. But at that point in time, she was in the ditch walking around. And I saw her 3 days after her accident, and there was not a scratch on her. And my question is, well, Marcus is in heaven, what's he doing hanging around over here with her in her car? You know, it's just too many things that didn't make sense. And I think that, there's a world out there that it's okay to explore, but you've got to be smart about it and find somebody like Carla that's knowledgeable and will steer you in the right direction.
Later, 'cause it's time for me to go.
So I just think that she was talking to him, no doubt about it.
But it sure was good to know you.
Since we came and talked to Carla and realized that she actually talked to Marcus, my faith has been restored. God really put his hand out and said, your son is here with us.
And if you see an angel falling, won't you stop and help her up?
And one day you'll be here with us too. I think our faith has been restored. There's just so much sadness. These last several years since year 2000, there's a lot of people that are lost, and if there's a way that, you know, they can just open up their hearts and look at the big picture.
And we show each other signs.
You know, this is a healing. And I feel like my heart just doesn't hurt so much now.
Sometimes you'll stumble.
Actually, I feel like there's been about 1,000 pounds lifted off my shoulders.
Sometimes you'll just lie down.
After the reading with Carla,
Sometimes you will get lost.
Marcus loved Christmas.
With all these people around.
There's been many times that I woke up at 2 in the morning with him staring me in the face, and I'd wake up and say, Dad, let's open the presents. Smart as he was, he couldn't tell time, Christmas Day. Since 2000, I can't stand Christmas carols anymore. And this year I enjoyed them. This is the first time I actually enjoyed listening to a Christmas carol. And it was really nice.
And it snowed for you, didn't it?
It snowed Christmas Day. First time I've seen snow on Christmas Day in 30 years. I got up Christmas morning, there was 4 inches of snow on the ground. And it was like the perfect Christmas. Marcus wasn't there in body, but it's like I know he's around here. And it's okay.
Well, I reached my destination. Yeah, I finally made it home. God sent 10,000 angels to make me one of His own. Oh, but we are each other's angels. Oh, and we meet when it is time. Oh, we keep each other going, and we show each other signs, each other's angels. Oh, we are each other's angels. Oh, we are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Oh, we are each other's angels. Oh, we are each other's angels.
To hear more about Mark and Laura's reading, visit my website, carlamae.com.
Oh, we are each other's angels. Oh, we are each other's angels. Oh, we are each other's angels. Oh, we are each other's angels.